Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So now we will start our lesson this week. So I hope you understand the last time we introduced Anaconda, and we introduced GitHub, and how to connect your Anaconda to GitHub. So if you are starting, then you can just open your Anaconda and Spider, then open your GitHub desktop. So later on we can save our file into your GitHub place. So is that okay? I wait for you to open your Spider. If you are opened, then you just type yes. So I know everyone can start. So last time, how many of you hasn't been able to download GitHub desktop? So for the one you say that you missed the step to connect Anaconda, do you have your GitHub desktop downloaded? Then have you created your GitHub account on the website, GitHub website? Okay, then shall I show you again? So now I open my GitHub. So on the website you type GitHub. So you should be able to go into your GitHub website. So on here, I have my repository. So now, we just open the one I asked you to do it. It's called NLP. So when I open this one, then I will, from the code, I will click on it, then copy the link, it's HTTPS, then I say copy it. When I copy it, then I just click on open with GitHub desktop. So my GitHub will be opened. Oh, how to make the repository? Okay, then I cancel this one, stop this one, then go back to here. So go back to your original page. You should be able to see repository here. Then you click on it. If you haven't got any repository, then you click on the new. So then you click on the new. So then you can have a new name here. But I have already have that one, so I just skip this step. So you click on this one, you give a name. Then scroll down, you can decide it. You want it to be public or private. Currently, you can use it as a private, so no one can see your file, but only you. So then after that, you just say create a repository. Click on this one. So you should be able to have the repository. So are you okay with that? Okay, then now we go back to after you created the repository. So you haven't done that? It should be just a minute. Yes, you have downloaded the GitHub. Okay, if just you cannot do it, later on I will publish the video on the Moodles, but I will wait until my assistant has got the time to do it. So I think if you can't use GitHub this time, you can just skip it, then we continue our lesson. After you are able to do it, then you connect it. Okay, so we skip the GitHub part. Then we go back to our lesson. So for this week, we will talk about a little bit. Last time we haven't mentioned about how to manually create an Anaconda virtual environment. But then here, I will teach you how to do it manually. So if you have a problem with the icon to open a new repository, you can do the manual one. So for doing the manual one, you need to go to the Anaconda, then select your virtual environment. So from here, we click on the environment. Then you can select any one you want. Currently, I'm in the NCCU teaching. So then I click on the arrow here, then I say open terminal. So after I open terminal, I can say Conda create. Then give it a -n, which it means a name. Then give it a name. So then I say test. So now it's Conda create -n, then space test. So with this word, with this one, then you where is my, yeah, it's here. So now the terminal, then I just press enter. So it will start to create a test virtual environment. Now when we go back to, it will ask you to proceed. Then I just type yes. So when it finishes, then it will say Conda deactivate, because you create a new one. So you activate a test. Actually, if you want to change your environment, you can go back. You can go back to Anaconda. So now we should be able to see a new virtual environment. It's a bit slow. Sometimes if your Anaconda has accommodated so many things, the speed will get slower. But then we don't need to wait until it finishes. We just okay, so it's still, so my virtual environment is still in NCCU teaching. So I will wait for Anaconda to do its work, then we continue our lessons. So this is the way you can do Conda create. Then if you want to activate your any virtual environment from Anaconda terminal, you can just type Conda activate. So then give a name about, like I create a test, the NLP will change it to test. If you want to deactivate it, then you just deactivate. So then you say Conda deactivate from the place, like I was in a Conda, my virtual environment is NCCU-teachings. If I want to deactivate it, I just type Conda deactivate here. Then the NCCU teaching will stop. When it stops, the Anaconda will go back to the base. So the virtual environment will be base. But currently we just keep our work here. Then if you want to remove a virtual environment, you just type Conda env remove, then give the name of your virtual environment, like I was created a test, then the NLP will be changed to test. So is that okay with everyone? Okay, now we will start our Python. So Python, we will talk about its writing format first. For the Python, it doesn't need to have any for like Java, you need to put a semicolon here. But for Python, you don't need, unless you want to put them in a same line. So you want to split the two variables, so then you give the semicolon here. It's not semicolon. So this is the way we do, we write. Now we talk about the integer. The first we do a bit of revision on Python. So the integer, when you say a equals to 1, b equals to 2, then it will assign 1 to a and 2 to b. So now we do print. If you print, you need to put everything inside a bracket. So for the first F, it's named format. So the format, after the format, we give a double quote, or you can use a single quote. They are the same in Python, but if you use single quote, you need to be paired. So for example, I use single quote, then at the end, I need to use single quote. So you can mix them up. So now I said print in a format, then I wanted to print 1 point a plus b equals, so up to here is just hard printing, nothing will work here. But then you give a curly bracket, then inside the curly bracket you will say a plus b, then this one is a variable. So variable, it will work to give you the result about a plus b. So now we give it a run. So when you want to run it, we just click on the green square here. We click the run. When you click the run, if you have noticed, this one is a save. It will automatically save it. So when you run it, it will automatically save it. So now it will print 1.a plus b equals 3. So every time if you need to do something to tell yourself, you better have something to remind you what you are doing. So currently we want to do a plus b. So we don't just give the result a 3. Then we don't know what we are doing. So this is why we need a format. Then we need something print before the result. Is that okay with everyone? No, in Python you don't need to indicate the variable because when you assign 1, it will be integer. So later on I will tell you. So after this one, we'll talk about the float. So when I say a equals 38.5, then the Python will automatically assign a float to a. So then the integer for a has been changed to float. So now we change the print to here. So then we print. So then we print the second one. We want to print a plus b. So now we see what's the result. Then we print it. So now a plus b equals 40.05. So then this is a float. Yes, F is a format. So if without this one, I can show you if we don't have this one. We have nothing declared here. Then we say just print a plus b. Then the result will show you just 40.05. So you know when you are playing with yourself, it's fine to just skip this one. But if you want to show something, then you better give a format. So we know. So when we have the result, it will give us some explanation about what we are doing now. So this is why we need a format here. Can you paste your code on the text so I can see why you have syntax error? Okay, now, okay, then we go on to next one. Now, this time we talk about b equals 1e plus 3. So the 1e is a strange word. It's actually a mathematic for 1e means 10, the 3 times 4 times, the times of 10. So if you say 1e plus 3 means 10, 3 times 10. So now we will show you what's the result being printed. So now we have b. So now we do a print. Now it says, so if you assign something like this one, it will be a float as well. So you see, although we give you 3 times 10, it's no, it's exponentially. It's not 3 times. It's actually exponentially of 3 of 10. So it will have a 0.0 here. So now I just show you another float. Now let's say at this time we will see how a plus b will be. So now we try another one. So now they are all float now because we change a into 38.5. So now it's 1038.5. Okay. If we want to be more official, we can say we can give a sum about a plus b. So now we put the result into sum. So then we print. So when we print it, we will just do when you want to print this one, it's actually we can ignore this one. Never mind. We play this one first. So it will be this one. Then actually we can do like before. So we make it do let's see what will happen if we just give it a sum. See, this is the arrow about it. So if you put a sum here, if we use the different bracket, then this is a variable, then I think this should work. No, it doesn't work. So which means if you put this one into assign to it, then it become a string. So when it's a string, it won't be able to print it. Oh no, my fault here, because I haven't put the F here, so it should be work now. Doesn't work. Doesn't work because I put the wrong place here. Okay, it's working now. So so that's a little mistake. After you use F, then the bracket should be before and after the whole string. Then like we have shown you before, the sum should be in a curly bracket. No, then that's a variable, so it will work. Okay, then I will talk about when we have a program, we really don't want to do is to assign a fixed variable to our program, because then it will be changed every time you want to use it. So now, because many of you are beginners, so you haven't learned Python before. So for the first practice, I will do it myself. So the first practice actually want to take two input integers and print the sum up result. So if we take two input, then we won't be able to do, we don't do like assignment here. So next time if we want to change our work, then we can just run it, then have the different result. So now we will work on the practice 1. So now here, we use a new command here called input. So this command will allow a user to input something from the screen. So you don't need to assign like here we say n1 equals to 2 or 3. Then we have n2 equals to 5. Then we do the sum up. So this time we don't want this one, so we remove it. Then we start it. We input. Then input give us some explanation, so the user will know how to input something in the screen. So now we run it. Now it asks you to enter the first number here. So then I will type 5. Then press enter. Then you will ask you to enter the second number. Then I press 6. Then I press, so we have the result. 55. What's happening? So what's happening? Anyone knows the answer? If anyone knows the answer, then type on the text. Yeah, so give me your numbers, I give you a mark. Yeah, so for someone answer the strings. Yeah, 3 of you. The strings, the data type, and it is not integer. Yeah. All of you give me your numbers, registration number, so I give you 1 point. Yeah, this yeah, someone says put the int in front. Yeah, that's a good idea. So I see if I have done all of you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the one saying put int in, have you got your numbers here? Are you a new student here? Oh, no, you're not. So, the last 3 digits, 009, 076, 007, 084, 011. Are you all get the point? Yeah. Okay, good. So now, we have someone says it's because the result is actually the input will only take the string. So now the 5 and 6 become a string. Then string can be concatenated. So if we want to actually do a math, then here we can add something like someone says, but we can also say sum equals int n1 plus int n2. So now we change here to sum. So we hope it works. So now we want to have 3. Then we have another 7. See? So we got a correct answer now. So are you all fine with that? Okay. Okay, now you can see I have something. So now we'll show you something here. You see the star here, which means I have changed my program here. So now I want to do a save. Now I'll go to my desktop. I open my GitHub. If you already have something saved, then see here. Now I have 2 changes. If you have 2 changes, the commit to main will be like a gray color. You can click on it. So now we just leave 1 tick. So then we can do commit to main. Then we do another click, and we do another commit to main. So now I have 2 changes. Then I push origin. So now everything changed, has moved to my GitHub website. So they are all changed. So if you have done something, then you can try and save them into your GitHub. Okay, now we go back to our first numbers. Now, so can anyone do the second practice? Take 5 input for 5 times and print the result. Can anyone do it? I give you a few minutes, then you can try yourself. But this time you need to use for loop. If you haven't learned that, then you maybe need to wait until I give you the answer. But if someone has done Python before, you should be able to use for loop to do this practice. If someone has done the work, then you can paste on the text so I can see it. If you are working on this practice, then type yes, so I know how many of you can try. No one is working on it. Okay, then we just I'll show you the result. Now, here, this one. Yeah, but because we I think, what's your number again? You have done. So you are 777. Yeah. So I can see. Have you tried the answer? For I in range 5 print. But if you input, then I think it should be a string. Then you shouldn't get the correct answer. So see here. So I think you missed this one, this part, although very similar. Yeah. So that's the correct answer now. Good. Give you another point. So now I explain here. So here I put I assign 0 to y. Then for I, this is a for loop. If you haven't done the for loop here, then we say for I in range 1 to 6. So for the range, it's start from the first one, but then it will end to 5. So for 6, you won't do anything about 6. So for this range, you will do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every time if you put a range, the last one will be it will work only the one before the last one. I thought that's the other one. Yeah. 009. Okay, so 2 of you get 2 points, 3 of you get 1 point. Okay, good. So we do the for loop, then we use range. Every time if you use range, then the last one won't count. So this time we use 1 between 1 and 6, but it actually work from 1. Do you think so? It's too difficult for beginner to follow. I thought it's quite easy. So where do you think it's difficult? You mean from this one or from the practice one, or where to? Okay, so you don't know what's the float and what's the. Okay, I'll say it again. So the integer means just a number without any decimal point. It's called integer. So if I say a equals to 1, I mean I just assign 1 to a. Then I assign 2 to b. When in Python you assign the number without decimal point, then it will be an integer. So the result will be an integer. But if you assign, like, it's called float, but it doesn't really matter. You remember it's called integer or it's called float. It's only matter when your result, you want to have a decimal result or you don't want a decimal result. So when you say a float, it just gives you, the assignment will be something with decimal point. So it's called float. Then for this one, it's actually very mathematics. So in our lessons later on, because we are doing a lot of strings, so we may not use this one. So it just gives you an idea about this is a very strange things in Python programming. So if you can't learn this one, or you hate this one, or you don't like it, you just forget it. It's fine. But for someone, if you think it may help you to later on do some statistics, then you may need it. So it's up to you to how much you want to learn. So I think that's quite pretty simple. So then we just do a sum up. So the sum up here is called variable. On the left hand side is called variable. Then on the right hand side is an assignment. So you should have some A and some B. So you can do the sum up. Then give the sum up to a variable here on the left hand side. So up to here, are you okay with that? So if we do a print, then it's just a format you need to remember. So you just need to keep this format, like it's just like an English grammar. You need to give a f first, which means a format. Then after the format, you need to have a double quote or single quote, but a pair of double quote or single quote. Then inside it, anything you type is just a text. It won't do any work. It just print what you want it to print. But after that, if you give a curly bracket, then inside the curly bracket is is changeable. So the printing will be from something you ask him. You ask the program to do it. So then if you give the sum here, then it will print out the sum. Is that okay? Now, if anything is different to mine, you can try it after the class. Then you will know. The spider will tell you when it's wrong. Then it will show you an error here. So for example, if you want to try so you want to try okay, we try it. Then A plus B. Oh, it's worked. So you can actually, this part is just like we don't have this one. It's the same as this one. Oh, I haven't tried this before. Good job. Well done. So you have a new way of printing it. Then I give you 1 point. So it doesn't mean if you are a beginner you can't get point. Like this one, if you find something for programming, it's actually very, very changeable. A lot of things you can't learn all of them, but you will be familiar with what you always use. So it's something you may know, but I may not know. So, well done. So now we know if we want to print something like just text. So we have actually we don't. If we want to just print text, we even don't need a F. We can just say then. If you want to use an F because you want to use a curly bracket, so we use F. If not, we can just simply print this one. So we still get the result, then we still get the printing here. Yeah, that's yeah. So that's the hard printing. You can't change anything here with a double quote, but then this is the variable. You can change it with this kind of combination. You can print it, or if you want to use the printing format, then you use this one. Yeah, if you want to print two things, if you don't have this one, then it won't work. I don't think it will work. See, without the comma, you will have a syntax error. So with printing, you need to split your text and the variable here. Okay, now for the input, have you got any question about the input? What do you mean the computer in the function will lower your readability? Do you mean for printing? For printing, it doesn't really matter because you won't do too heavy work in a printing. So if you are saying use the format here, it's actually just a format. So you mean for the readability about your programming, your code? Yeah. So it's just a format. It depends on everyone's habit. If you like to do this one, then you can use no fixed answer, no actual answer. As long as your program is clear and you can see it, you can read it, then if you hand it to someone can read it, then that's fine. Okay, now we go back to the input. So now, here is actually very similar to the assignment, but we just change the assignment into input. So we just give an input, then we give a number. Then because the input itself just accepts string, then for doing mathematical work, string won't work for like sum up. So for this work, we wanted to change it to integer. So then we say int, then use a bracket to put n1 in here. So then it will change to int, then n2 again. So there was someone put in int here. It's also a good idea for doing this one. But if you are not very skillful yet, not means you can't do it, but if you are not skillful yet, so you can just very simply to do input. So you input the first things, then you input the second things. Then you sum up it, we change them to int. So then we can have the result here. Is that okay?